Mark Zuckerberg's appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast is gaining a lot of traction today because the conversation veered towards political censorship and how Facebook responded to election interference during the 2020 election. Now, conservatives are taking what Mark Zuckerberg said and they're twisting it in all sorts of ways to make it sound like Facebook and the FBI worked together to censor a story about Hunter Biden's laptop. But if you watch the interview, what Mark Zuckerberg says is actually the complete opposite of that. And it's funny because conservatives are using this moment, using this part of the interview to make it seem like there's this censorship against Republicans and conservatives, when this part of the interview, if you listen to what was actually said, makes it very clear that they are being conned by the Russians. They're being tricked by the Russians. So watch what Mark Zuckerberg says here, and we'll break it down on the other end.
When they're a big news item that's controversial, like there was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story, the New York Post.
Had that too.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different path than Twitter. Basically the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. So our protocol is different from Twitter's. What Twitter did is they said you can't share this at all. We didn't do that. What we do is we have, if something is reported to us as potentially misinformation, important misinformation, we also have this third-party fact-checking program because we don't want to be deciding what's true and false. And for I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false, the distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you could still share it, you could still consume it.
So when you say the distribution is decreased,
it got shared.
How does that work?
It basically, the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less. So fewer people saw it than would have otherwise. So it definitely...
By what percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's meaningful. But basically, a lot of people were still able to share it. We got a lot of complaints that was the case. Obviously this is a hyper political issue, so depending on what side of the political spectrum, you either think we didn't censor it enough or censored it way too much. But we weren't sort of as black and white about it as Twitter. We just kind of thought, hey, look, if the FBI, which I still view as a legitimate institution in this country, it's like very professional law enforcement, they come to us and tell us that we need to be on guard about something, then I want to take that seriously.
Did they specifically say you need to be on guard about that story?
No, I don't remember if it was that specifically, but it basically fit the pattern.
So the key moment from that part of the interview is the last few seconds where Rogan asked if he was specifically asked to look out for the Hunter Biden story, which Mark Zuckerberg says no, but it fit the pattern of Russian propaganda, which is something that conservatives aren't talking about today. They're talking about how Mark Zuckerberg was asked to censor this Hunter Biden laptop story, which just isn't true. And when I saw this on the news and on my Twitter feed, I knew that I had to watch the video for myself, because we all know the pattern that Republicans and conservatives and Trump fans have is that they will throw mud in the water so that the truth isn't really as clear as they want you to perceive it to be. And the fact that they're going around Twitter today saying, oh, can you believe it? It's all true. Facebook censored us. If you look at the interview, if you listen to what Mark Zuckerberg was saying. The FBI came to him, said, you need to watch out for foreign interference in our election, something that wasn't new to Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook or Twitter or the United States or the FBI, because Russians tried to sway the election for Trump in 2016, which they ultimately did. And Facebook didn't just go and look for the Hunter Biden story. Facebook, like YouTube, like Twitter, runs on algorithms. So if they see a story being posted by Russian bots, for example, then it is going to raise a flag. If they see a political story, an American political story, being posted by foreign accounts, right? Liked by foreign accounts, shared by foreign accounts, it is going to raise a flag. That doesn't mean that they're censoring that story. They're censoring the truth. It means that they're trying to keep an attack at bay from a foreign adversary. And so if you look around today, maybe some of your friends are sharing this, maybe just have a conversation with them about what Mark Zuckerberg really said in this interview. Because it's important, right? The truth is important. I know for Trump and I know for Republicans, it's not. They want to have their worldview, and they just want to listen to the parts of the speech and the parts of the interview but you have to zoom out and look at the big picture and face the facts that Russians did this in 2016. The FBI knew it was coming and warned Mark Zuckerberg to be on the lookout. And they essentially told their algorithm to look out for potential interference in the election. And they resisted an attack. They helped fend off a foreign adversary trying to interfere in our election. So it's not what they want you to think it is, right? Mark Zuckerberg didn't go after the Hunter Biden laptop story. He simply kept the Russians at bay.